Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts. Shout out everybody out there on Team Banky Pound, man. I appreciate the love. Boom, 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 boom. Appreciate the support. You know what it is, 33 years, man. 33 years of prison stories. We out here, we rolling. We trying to keep this positive energy going. Please tell a friend and tell a friend if they ain't hip to what we got going on, this movement we got going on over here. Tell them to come get with this, man, because this is where the positive energy is at, man. We trying to reach them and teach them. Reach them and teach them. Oh, man. I was thinking about this today and trying to figure out how to, you know, put this thing together because, you know, just made me think about it with a phone call I got from prison. But, you know, I wanted to try to explain this to y'all, man. You know, the prison drug prices, man. The prison drug prices. And it's crazy, man. It's crazy, you know, because like I told you, in prison, which is crazy, you know, everything, even when you go to the store, man, everything costs more in prison than it does out here in the street, which is just, to me, it's just crazy because we locked up. People got less money in prison than they actually got out here on the street. They pay you less money in prison for working than they actually do out on the street. So why the prices would be higher is beyond me. But that's just how it is. You know, and then as I told y'all, when I first went into prison, everything, you know, was free for as medical and, you know, medical aid and aspirin and all of that stuff now costs money. You got to pay for everything in there. You know, if you go to medical, you sick or whatever, you got to pay. You know, if you got any type of job, it comes out of your pay. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, the average job in there is paying like $30, $28 a month. So if you got to go to medical just to sign up alone, it's $5. You know what I'm saying? Then the copay or whatever it is, whatever type of medical treatment you need. So it's yeah, it's a hard life, man. It's a hard life, man, in there. So this is why, you know, money is so you know, even more you know, valuable in prison, man, because, you know, people need it to survive, you know. And this is why the drug trade in prison is so big. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you can get in there that you can't, you know, legally in prison legally have, it holds great value, you know, great value, you know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes even 4, 5, 10 times the value of what it is on the street. You know, as I told y'all about money in prison is worth, you know, double or time and a half. You know, you get a $50 bill, you know, somebody might give you $100. Some dudes is getting money, you know, more or less would give you $150, you know, commissary or cosmetics or, you know, something in trade for that actual $50 bill. Because what he's going to do is use that $50 bill to try to get some drugs, you know what I'm saying? Or you know, whatever else he can get with that money, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but so the value of drugs in prison, man, is great, you know what I'm saying? And I can remember, you know, when I first, you know, got introduced to, you know, how important drugs was in prison or how valuable drugs was in prison. Because I ain't never, you know, dabbled in drugs. As y'all know, I've told y'all 1 gazillion times I never done drugs in my life. On the street, never sold drugs. So drugs, been around drugs all my life. You know, DC drugs, I know drug dealers had, you know, some family members that might have indulged, but never got into it myself, you know. So I didn't really understand the whole, significance of it. The only thing I knew about, the drug dealers, to me, my concept was, as far as the drug dealers on the street, was they get out there, they hustle, they bustle, they do this, they do that, they go get all this money, accumulate all this money, and it takes up all this time. And mind you now, this young brain of mine that was already influenced by other things, my philosophy was, why would I do all of that and take 100 chances when I can take one chance and wait for you to sell all the drugs and I come take it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, crazy. And looking back on it now, realizing how dangerous that was in retrospect. But that's the type of life you live in when you misinformed. You know what I'm saying? That alone may be more dangerous than going out there and selling drugs day to day. But didn't know no better. You know what I'm saying? But when you know better, you do better. But yeah, so that was my whole philosophy about the drug game and drug dealers. But shout out to Unique Mecca, man. Former kingpin, and me and him was on the phone the other day, and we had that type of discussion, the different worlds we was in. Far as like when we was out here in the free world, he was, doing that thing, the drug dealing thing, and I was like, I would have been the dude that's, trying to take your money, So, crazy thing, man. But hopefully, man, we're gonna chop it up on camera real soon so y'all can, get that conversation. But anyway, I can remember being first introduced to the value of drugs in prison. I think I told it in one of my stories or pieces of it when I was on Augusta. And I had a dude that owed me some money. And he was supposed to give me some cash money for what he owed me, but he couldn't come through with that. And then he had some drugs. He had some weed, an ounce of weed or something like that. And I'm like, I don't want that. I want my money. You know what I'm saying? And what he owed me, I think, was like $100 bill. I'm like, I want the money. But like an ounce of weed in prison is worth far greater than $100. You know what I'm saying? It may have cost $100 back then. We talking about the late 80s. It might have cost $100 or less on the street. But in prison, you're going to accumulate, at least a stack or better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, I want my money, you know what I'm saying? And I can remember I put so much pressure on him and a threat on him, and he was trying to explain to me how much money I can get, that this was greater than what he owed me, but I won't have none of it. And then I was telling my homeboy Boo, shout out to Boo, man, my brother, hopefully he be home in a minute. I'm gonna definitely bring him to y'all. But I was telling Boo about it, and Boo was looking at me like I was, insane, like I'm crazy. Boo got that old high squeaky voice. He was like, man, Scott, you crazy, man. What? Man, you better take that weed. And I'm like, man, I don't want that weed. I want my money. Man, you won't get way more money than that, man. Get the weed, man. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Get the weed. So reluctantly, I took the weed. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I was used to running my business, my store box with an iron fist. You pay me what you owe me, not what you want to give me. You know what I'm saying? So I was so stuck in tunnel vision on that, not realizing that this was a opportunity to get more money. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up getting the weed, man, and I never forget it, man. Me and Boo talked about this a couple of weeks ago too. And I remember getting the weed and bringing the weed to the cell, then letting Boo know that I got the weed. And he was like, you got it? I was like, yeah. And then him and his cellie, Harvey, shout out to Harvey, they come down there to my cell to show me how to bag up the weed and, chop it up, break it up, woo, woo, woo. So they doing all of this, and we all in the cell now. We all three in the cell, and I'm watching them do this, and we all out of bounds. If the people come around there and catch us in that cell, let alone with that weed, we all gonna take that ride, man. We all going down like the Titanic, So I'm in here, I'm nervous, pervous, because this ain't my scene. This ain't what I'm used to doing. So I'm nervous, pervous. So I keep going up and looking out the door and making sure the police ain't in the block. And every time I heard the side door clicking, opening, I'm running to the door, looking out, make sure it ain't the police. It's an inmate coming in or something like that. And they over there just You know, they got music on, they breaking up the weed, and I'm like, man, this, you know, I'm in this joint nervous. They in there calm and happy because they know they getting ready to smoke. They getting ready to get some weed, some free weed, so they good. You know what I'm saying? So I can remember that joint, man. And we was reminiscing about that, and they was breaking the weed up and bagging the weed up, you know, and these little bitty pieces, man. And they telling me like, look, this $25. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about like a little bitty piece of weed, like $25. So now I'm looking at this little piece of weed, this $25 versus all of this weed that's down there. So I'm calculating it in my mind, like how many of these little bags you can get. It's $25, you know what I'm saying? So I was saying it's a lot. And then 4 of them would get me the $100 that he owed me. And I'm like, I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you, man. You know what I'm saying? You tripping, man. You know? And I'm like, man. I said, you sure it, man. He said, man, this stuff gonna sell, man, just like water. This stuff gonna be gone before you know it, be gone just like that. So I'm like, man, yeah, I got to see this. So, you know, they bag it all up and then they're all right, like, you know, what's my cut, man? I need to get, you know, so I get him some, get him some, and I still got a whole lot left. You know what I'm saying? He was like, boom, man, look, I'm going to tell you who you can get rid of this with. I'm going to tell you, you know, this dude smoke here. He almost everybody smoke. You can get it here, you can get it, you know. So they tell me that then they want to blaze up. You know, man, watch the door, man. We going to test this, make sure this weed good. So they smoking in there. I'm in there. I'm at the door. I'm looking out the door. I ain't trying to smell this stuff. I don't want it in my system at all. They over there getting high as gas. And man, I'm like, man, this might be too much here. You know, because it's going, if you got it, you're going to have to keep it. You're going to have to hide it. You're going to have to be on point all the time. So, you know, your nerves are going to be going crazy because you riding dirty. Anytime they come in there to check, you know what I'm saying, you got something, you got to hope they don't find it. But you riding dirty the whole time. So it's a lot more that goes on with it besides the fact that you just gonna get some money, you know. So yeah, man, but that was a crazy scene. They was getting high. They was like, oh yeah, this joint right here good. This joint right, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, okay. So I'm tell you now, this stuff don't sell, man. Woo woo. I'm still thinking in my mind, if I can't get rid of this, I'm gonna take it back to the dude. Man, get my $100. You got, you know what I'm saying? And you owe me extra. You owe me, you owe me $200. So it was crazy, man. But yeah, that was the beginning of it right then and there, man. I think, man, the weed got gone, man, just like that, man. I mean, boom, 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 boom. But now the only thing you got to worry about is dudes calling your name. You know, like, yo, Bank got the weed. You know, Bank got, I don't know. Bank ain't got nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want your name out there because somebody might be hating on you or don't like you or drop your name in a little bucket. And then the people come, boom, boom, kick your door in and you're stuck. So, you know, fortunately that didn't happen, man. I made, you know, my money, you know, a couple of times over and over, you know, so it was like, oh man, so that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's where, you know what I'm saying? That's why everybody running around here trying to get what they call in prison the sack. That's why they trying to get the sack. Because the amount of money that you can make versus the hustle in penitentiary versus, you know, what you got in penitentiary is just no comparison. Is no comparison. You know what I'm saying? So when you wonder why these COs will, you know, risk their livelihood or risk their job to bring drugs in, when you always say, oh, CO got busted bringing drugs in, or CO fiver. Yeah, because dudes is giving them way more money than they making on their check. You know, if they get paid in by the state once a month, you know what I'm saying, dude might give you what you getting for working a whole month just to bring that sack in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's great temptation for them. Great temptation for them. You understand? So this is why they do it. You know what I'm saying? This is why dudes try to accumulate cash, because they will, you know, proposition the CO with a certain amount of cash, and sometimes it's just so hard for them to, you know, to turn down. You know, it ain't like them saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. They showing you, look, I got it right here. You know what I'm saying? I give it to you right here. I'm going to give it to you on the strength that you're going to take care of your business. You know, you got to come back to work. You come back to work, man. You know, hopefully you ain't going to play with me with my money. You bring back what you're supposed to bring back. If you do that, man, you know, I can look out for you the next time. You know what I'm saying? Every time I need it, I just go through you. But don't play with me, and then dudes might let them know, you know, some dude, you come back to work and you ain't got my stuff, man. I'm already in prison. I already got this amount of time. I already got this, man. I'm you know, I'm going to go ahead on and take you about here, man. So if you take this money, make sure you do what you say you're gonna do. And that's it. And they do it. You know what I'm saying? A lot more often than people know about. So but the reason is because, like I say, the value of the drugs in prison. You know what I'm saying? I don't even believe, without a shadow of a doubt, man, that you can get any amount of drugs in prison that you cannot get rid of. It's gonna sell. It's gonna get gone. In an environment where everybody is broke, they gonna find the money. They gonna find it. Man, you got dudes that will go rob somebody else or go rob another dude's cell to come purchase the drugs. And putting themselves at risk of going to war with the person that they robbed if that person find out, or they creep in their cell and they put just to get them drugs, man. I'm telling you, man, so I never fully understood, what I'm saying, the addiction and how people will risk their life for that like that, because I never been in that position. But I kind of understand because I've been around those type of people now for so long. It's something that they can't control. It's beyond their control. They cannot stop it. I believe that if you could stop something that's jeopardizing your life, if it was within your willpower, or you had the power to exercise that will that you do have, then you would do it. But I just don't think they can tap into that willpower to say, man, I can't do this. This is just too risky. This is too dangerous. This is not good for me. I don't believe they have that, you know what I'm saying? So I try to empathize with that when I see people that's gone like that, man. But I'm going to tell you, man, in prison, man, that drug game is crazy. And I know dudes that have made, I'm telling you, astronomical amounts of money from sitting in a prison. Yeah, sitting in a prison cell, get, with the plug to get the drugs, you know what I'm saying? And then what is even more crazy about it is, if you got an avenue, they call it an avenue, meaning a way to get the drugs in. You got an avenue, meaning you got a roller. A roller is a seal. If you got a roller and a roller is bringing you drugs and don't nobody know who he is, he the plug for you, and you don't let nobody else know, and don't nobody else know, and he ain't trying to be a renegade bringing drugs for this guy, that guy, this guy, whoever. If he just, exclusively dealing with you and it ain't that much drugs on the compound and you got a roller, that means you can get it on a regular, then, you got a commodity. So everybody is looking to you. You will actually have dudes, man, they want drugs so bad, you will actually have dudes that don't even really know you and will approach you with propositions as if, like, to say to you, look, man, let me holler at you. Look, I know, you know what I'm saying, you be getting the weed, or you be getting the crack, or you be getting the dope, or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to know how you getting it, but I want to let you know I got some people on the street, they can get it to your people, man. Well, whatever you want, they can get it to them, and we just gap it. They just want the avenue to be able to get it in. They may get it, you know what I'm saying? You may be paying for yours, and then you got to pay the roller. So then you got somebody coming to you, tell you they can get you whatever you want, and you ain't got to pay nothing. Just get it in, and you gonna get a half of that. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you want this, I'll get you that, and you just make sure you get me the same thing in as well. So it's a wild game, man, and it's a vicious game, because jealousy get involved, money get involved, the larceny get involved, the skullduggery come in, the tomfoolery, the trickery, all of that come into play now, because there's money involved, and a lot of money. Man, I know, man, Hector. Go back to Hector, man, the pimp, the big old pimp. Hector was like one of the first dudes while I was locked up that was getting crack. He was like one of the first dudes on the compound that introduced crack to the compound. Hector was getting money hand over fist, man. I was there, I was witnesses, I was right there in the cell with him, hand over fist. And I mean, he had prostitutes coming up there bringing the drugs in. And the prostitutes, when they first started coming, they were catching bus from D.C. to come down here to visit him on the weekend. Within a couple of months, man, they was driving a Benz up there from the money that Hector was sending out to them. Yeah, real talk. I know dudes have started all the way to the time I was getting ready to get out. I know dudes got 18 wheelers on the road going back and forth. A couple of them, he owned, that he done got from the hustle that he done made in prison off of the drug money. You know what I'm saying? Dudes that done purchase houses for their wives, cars for their girlfriends, and so on and so forth with drugs, man. With drugs from inside the prison. And these ain't kingpin dudes that were kingpin when they was on the street. Like you got the big boys that got locked up, you know, the Rayful Lewis's and all of these. He want these type of cats on the street. But in the prison, it's like I said, it's magnified. If you got an avenue and you got a plug to get you what you need, man, the money is gonna come just like that. Just like that. It's an amazing thing, man. And then, you know, like I say, right before I left, you know, or a couple of years before I left, you know, when they had took away the tobacco, they had took away the cigarettes. Now, right before I left, the cigarettes was the biggest commodity in there. Tobacco was the biggest commodity. Tobacco had surpassed weed. You know, a lot of people do weed. A lot more than you would think do crack and cocaine and dope too. But weed, I would probably say more people. You know what I'm saying? But it is a number of people who do dope and do crack that you would not believe. I didn't believe that. You do that? You know what I'm saying? But I don't think it surpasses how many people that does the weed in there. So when you get weed, you know, you got a wider customer base than most other things. And then weed costs less in prison than crack and dope. So you're talking about tobacco now. Now you surpassing weed because more people had cigarette habits and smoke cigarettes. So they take that away and they erase that. So now that becomes a commodity. So cigarettes cost cheaper than weed, dope, coke, anything on the street. So somebody could get, man, before I left prison, somebody could get a pound of tobacco for $12 out here or something like $13 out here on the street and get that in prison and probably make in excess of $5,000. $5,000. Yeah, real talk. So that is the difference. That is the value of having something in prison that is illegal, having something in prison that's not, you know, easily accessible to everybody like it is out here on the street. You know, something that is legal on the street but illegal in prison. You know what I'm saying? They is killing them with tobacco. And then you got more police that was willing to take the chance on bringing tobacco in than they were on bringing a hard drug in or even weed in, because they feeling like it's really not a felony when it's all said and done. It's just, you know, they're breaking the laws of their job, but not the, you know, the laws of out here is not illegal. What are you gonna get charged with? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get charged with, you know, doing what you did to break your, you know, your oath to the prison and your job, but you're not gonna get charged with a street charge like, you know, transferring drugs or whatever the charge is, you know. So that tobacco was everywhere. And then, like I say, it's so much money in it because you taking it and breaking it down. They're selling everything in the smallest form. The least amount they can give you for the maximum amount of money is what they're doing. The least amount they can give you for the maximum amount of money. You know, and yeah, it's a vicious game, man. And this is where a lot of the violence come in at. Because dudes who can't get it want it. Then you got the gangsters who want to get high and they ain't got the money to get high. So then you gonna get the Bethlehem play. Then you gonna get the robberies coming in. Then you gonna get whoever got the drugs. They got to be man enough and dangerous enough to hold on to the drugs and don't let nobody take them. When it comes down to that, then you have to hurt somebody. Then the gig is up anyway, because now you ain't getting money and you back in the hole, and you probably get a charge because of whoever you had to hurt. So the gig is up. So it's always a risky business, you know, but it's a business that goes on in prison every day, everywhere, in every prison that you probably can possibly think of. Because it is a resource and it is a source to getting money. And that is the number one commodity in prison, the number one need in prison, besides freedom, is money. And when a dude finds a way to get it, and then you get some dudes, they get that money just so they can maintain, you know, or keep their woman. You know, because they away from them. They scared their woman gonna leave them. They ain't out there. You ain't paying no bills. You ain't being able to satisfy their physical needs. You can't satisfy their financial needs. So what can you do? So they compensate with the money. Oh, I can pay the bills, and they want to hustle in here and send money out and send money out. And then you got women who use that. They out there doing whatever they want to do, but they ain't gonna get rid of you because you still paying them bills from prison. So it's just it's a vicious cycle, man. I'm telling you, it goes down in the penitentiary. It goes down in the penitentiary, and a lot of blood is spilled over them drugs. A lot of blood is spilled and left on the floor behind them drugs, either behind debt, behind lying, behind scheming, behind backstabbing, behind trickery. All of that goes on when you in that arena of that drug game. All of that, and every day people still trying to get in it. They still trying to get in it because they look at what they can gain and not what they can lose. You see what I'm saying? What they can gain and not what they can lose. And you have to look at both sides of the coin when you get involved in anything because it is a risk. It is a great risk. And like I say, they had dudes on, I've been on compounds where you had whole mobs that was just straight, they the robbery gang. I remember on Green, they had the red flag gang. They walk around with red flags hanging out the back of their pants, man, that they done took from the flag football joint, and it's letting it be known yet they trying to rob the drug boys. Whoever got the sack, they want you break bread or they trying to rob you. You know what I'm saying? And they was more so picking and choosing, but they was picking a lot of them. You know what I'm saying? They was picking a lot of them. You know, and I think I spoke about that in the Greensville series. But yeah, they was getting them. So you had to be prepared to put some work in if you was gonna have your hands on some drugs. But that's penitentiary anyway. You got to be prepared to put some work in if you gonna try to get some money in prison. If you're going to try to run a business in prison, if you're going to try to run a store box, or a parlay, a poker game, a skin game, or a dice game, or whatever you're trying to do in prison, if it involves a dollar bill, you are going to have to be able to put some work in. You're going to have to be willing to put some work in at a second notice. If you are opposed, if you disrespected, if you're not being paid, if you are approached to be robbed, you're going to be having the willing to put some work in. That all comes with the territory, period. And then you get dudes in there to try to bypass that. They ain't built like that. They like to get high. They like to get money. They like to sell drugs. They sold drugs on the street, but they ain't got that type of heart. So then they'll hire dudes. They'll put dudes in their circle, put dudes in their circumference. That is head busters. That is Bethlehem pushers. And they'll be like, look, man, I'm going to make sure you own it. Everybody, you sell all that and you claim it and you tell the people it's yours, man. But all the time, he the man who getting it. And everybody know it. But then you got dudes that are double back. They'll go around the goons and go straight to you and be like, look, man, I know you getting them drugs, man. I know them drugs such them sell. I know that's yours, man. Man, you better break me off, man. I'm telling you. And then you go tell them, make them try to come at me if you want to. Yeah, I'm going to come at you first. And all of that goes on. The skullduggery is in full effect when it comes to them drugs and it comes to somebody trying to get high in the penitentiary. Believe that. It's in full effect. And then you got some dudes, they just go so hard that they don't care you got the goons. They willing to go at the goons. They telling you straight up, I want it. I want my gap. I want a piece of it. They like Frank White and the King of New York. They say if it's a nickel being made, if it's a dime being made, I want in. I want in. You know what I'm saying? I.e. Angelo Ford. Angelo want to get high. And he don't care what the cost is. Period. And it's a couple of dudes like that. It's a couple of jokers that don't care. So, you got to know what you're doing, when you get involved in that, man. But it is most definitely, prosperous if you can pull it off. But it is also just as dangerous to be involved in it, man. So, yeah, man, the prices of drugs in prison is high. You know what I'm saying? Literally and figuratively, they are high. You know what I'm saying? To be in that game, man. And it's a dangerous game, man. And then you got to look at all sides. If you get caught by the police, then too, depending on what you get caught with, you definitely going to lock up. You probably gonna get transferred, and you depending on what you might get a street charge as well. So however much time you got, you're going to get some time added on, unless you got some life sentences or 60 or 80 years or something, and then they ain't gonna worry about it because they just gonna give you the prison sentence and the prison punishment because they know that little bit of time is not gonna affect the time that you already doing. But it's going in your file, you know, and if you're a person that makes parole or is dependent upon making parole, it's gonna be in your file. So that's gonna affect you either way. Going to court and getting more time is not gonna affect you if you got a life sentence. But putting that in your file that you were caught, you know, selling drugs in prison, is going to affect your release time. You can believe that, because they might use that 10, 15 times to turn you down from parole. Well, you got caught, you know, selling drugs on Nottoway. Yeah, that was 91. This 2023. Yeah, but you got caught. That's how they coming. So it will affect you, you know what I'm saying? Like I say, but yeah, man, the drug game in prison, the drug prices in prison is a big deal. It's a big deal. So, you know, just, you know, wanting to enlighten y'all on some of that, man. And you wonder, why do these dudes take these chances? Why are these dudes, you know, doing this? Why they in there getting high and not worried about getting out? It's money involved, you know. It's money, and when money is involved, it's gonna be a lot of players in the game, you know. So yeah, but you know, just a little something I wanted to drop on y'all, get y'all opinion. Y'all talk to me, you know, ask me some questions that y'all might want to know, something that I might have left out, because I'm just, you know, giving y'all this off the top of my head. But talk to me in the comments, man. Y'all know I talk back. You know, y'all know what it is, man. I probably see y'all in 24 hours, man. You know, I try to stay consistent. I try to be here for your TBP, because y'all here for me. You know, we together. We in this. We family, man. Spread the word, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We on the road to 100K, man. 80K the next stop. Let's get there. Let's go. Salute. I'll see y'all in a minute. Y'all be safe, be smart, make good decisions, man. And y'all know what the head say. Y'all know what the shirt say. Boom, 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 boom. Duck them hooks, man. They out there, man. Boom. Man, they ain't playing. Yeah.
The Banky special.
Yeah.
Pure deliciousness.
Pure deliciousness, man. My name is Banky, man. Everybody calls me Banky. That's the name that I got from my grandmother when I was young. I'm coming out here after 30 years. Yeah, I ain't got nothing, but I'm gonna have something because I'm rich in personality, you know, and I'm rich in love. My family love me, and that's really all that counts.